Hello, hello, and welcome to Manifesting Minds. Sorry if you can't really see my face, but apparently this is the only way that I don't have an echo. Today, we're going to be talking about affirmations, why they don't work. Okay, all right. Actually, they do work, but there is a very specific way that you need to use affirmations in order to make it work. So I'm assuming you probably already know what an affirmation it is. It's when you stand in front of the mirror every day and you're like, I'm beautiful, I'm thin, I'm successful. I'm beautiful, I'm thin, I'm successful. The problem is there's this little bitty teeny tiny voice in the back of your head that says, no, you're not. No, you're not. Are you crazy? And now we've just sent the universe a mixed signal. Affirmations don't work when they feel like a lie. When you're standing there and you're telling yourself something that doesn't feel true, that doesn't feel like it's doable, that type of affirmation is the exact kind that we're talking about. You can sit and stand and tell yourself in the mirror every single day, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. And as long as you have that little voice that says, no, you're not, you're crazy, that's why that affirmation doesn't work. The law of attraction isn't just about visualizations. It's not just about the words that we say. It's about the energy that is created when we say them. Okay? So you've probably heard that when you're manifesting, you need to feel it before it happens. You need to feel as though the perfect person or the money or whatever has already happened. And people have a hard time with that. People have a hard time imagining what it would feel like if they were thin, or imagining what it would feel like if they were living the life of their dreams. And so as they're saying those affirmations, or as they're creating those visualizations, they're not creating the harmony of the feeling that matches the words and that matches the intentions. This ability to harness our emotions, emotional control, is crucial in order to manifest the life of your dreams. The emotion, the energy that you have is the magnet that attracts. So you've probably heard me say before, we're manifesting all the time. Unfortunately, most people aren't manifesting wealth. They're manifesting poverty. They're manifesting broken opportunities. They're manifesting difficult clients. They're manifesting what they don't want. Why is that? Why? Well, the reason is because that feels real, right? So being able to take our emotions and use them effectively is what the law of attraction is all about. We could very easily know that we're intelligent, for example. And so maybe your affirmation is, I'm smart. Okay. But if you have some low self-esteem and inside you feel like, yeah, I shouldn't say that out loud because that's haughty. Or if I say that, I'm bragging. So you see how there's like an emotional disconnect from what we're saying and what we want to attract in our life and how we feel. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you enough how much the emotional control is critical. That's how we are accidentally manifesting stuff. Okay. So, how do we do this? How do we create the emotion and attach it to the vision or attach it to the affirmation? It's not as hard as you would think, but it does require some focus and it does require some effort. The negative things that you already have in your life, you're really good at that already. You're really good at saying, I can't do that. That's too hard. And then that defeated feeling is right there. You're really good at that. You spent your whole life thinking that, I can't trust anybody. And you feel this kind of distrust that's in your heart. The most trustworthy person in the universe could be right in front of you. And as long as you have this I can't trust anybody, and the feeling that matches, you will either not attract trustworthy people, or worse yet, you might repel the very thing that you're trying to attract. We can't try to work on something. I hear people say that a lot. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. Yeah. I have a famous mentor. His name is Yoda. He says, do or do not. There is no try. You're either doing it or you're not. I love Yoda. That's words of wisdom there from a Jedi mind master. And that is what we have to become, is not only a master of our minds, a master of our words, but a master of the energy, which is the lightsaber that we are wielding for the law of attraction. I just like randomly came up with Star Wars metaphors here. But okay, so it's not as hard as what you would think. So here's how you do it. So let's say we'll take money. Let's say that you want to attract X amount of dollars in the next 30 days. Okay. And you have $0 today. Okay. So try this. Imagine what it would be like to have $0 1 month from now. Feel it? Yeah, that hurts, right? That's painful. Yeah, you're imagining the future. Except you just blueprinted the negative feeling onto the future. So people will frequently say, but I can't imagine something that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, well, whether there's a 0 in your bank account or 10,000 in your bank account 30 days from now, neither has happened. So why can you feel the 0, but not the 10,000? We've got a mismatch in the wiring between the right brain and the left brain function. And that's what has to be synced. Okay. So think about a time where you felt very successful. Think about a time where you felt abundant. You felt financially secure. Somebody out there right now is saying, I've never felt like that. Okay. All right. So we're going to make it up. Okay. We're going to pretend. What would you feel like if you had all the money that you needed? What would you feel like if you had 10,000? So feel that for a second. Make it up. You're making up the future anyway, so let's make it up proactively and on purpose. So imagine what that would feel like. You might have a hard time with that, but that's why this is emotional control. You're learning to control how you feel so that you can attract and create a new life. Once you master this, you will not be the same person that you were last year or the year before. You will be a new human being that knows how to control their energy. Okay, so imagine what that would be like. Okay. Oh, this feeling of peace. Maybe you feel it in your chest. Maybe you feel it in your stomach. And even if it's only 10%, that's okay. You would want to work on expanding that feeling, expanding that feeling. And so notice that feeling, either something that you do legit remember from the past or something that you're making up how you think you would feel. And think about having X amount of money in your bank account in 30 days. Oops, might start shaking. It's oops. They're not quite matching. Emotional control. Get that energy back. Oh, what it would feel like. And hold that feeling along with the affirmation for about 5 minutes. That's your homework for the week. What I just taught is a quick sample of how to rewire your own brain. I'm fully aware that there are brains out there that will struggle with this because of the past, because of memories, because of trauma, etc. I get it. So if you need personalized help, there's my email. I do offer coaching to people who have a hard time doing this on their own. But for those of you with the enough focus to be able to hold that feeling, if you can hold that feeling in the thought, that's how you make affirmations work. You're using the right emotion that matches those words. Okay. Okay, that's our video for today, and I will see you tomorrow.